Hey everyone, yeah, welcome back to today's Tranter Shows video. And today's Tranter Shows video is actually out to talk about, because we're doing a Tranter's Pet video every Saturday. So today we're going to be talking about Tranter's Pets. Today I'm about to discuss to you about designing your fish tank. Obviously different fish tanks will need different needs depending on your fish. So in this case we're going to go with my 4 fish tanks, because they do all have different fish in them, which then means they have different things. Please ignore how dirty my tanks are. I have had a busy week with work, so I haven't had a chance to clean them, but I will get a chance to clean them next week. Yeah, so please ignore how dirty they are with algae and everything. First of all, let's get talking about type of fish that you could have. Type of common fish that you can buy from a common fish shop is tropical fish, which again, this is all different type of tropical fish. You can get some tetras like we got here. We got some neon tetras as well as some dock tetras, gouramis, rainbows, catfish, pluckies, mollies, cories, and all these guys will need all different type of hidings. All different type of different tanks. I think this tank's a nice mix of different of hiding spots for all the fish, which we'll discuss into that in a minute. But like obviously the stock in here is just the common tropical fish. So in here we got some tetras, as already discussed. We got some dock tetras and some neon tetras, as well as then we got some mollies, blue mollies as well as common mollies. We got rainbow fish, gouramis, different types of gouramis, as well as peacock gudgeon, mollies, I think I already said mollies, platies, and some daniels. You know, it's a nice mixture of fish. So once you've got a nice mixture of fish, how can you design a tank for a different, for different types of fish? Quite easy. This is like planning a tank. Means the light plant itself will act as a hiding spot, or at least a diversion to hide if fish were chasing after each other. Some fish will get like hiding spots, like I got a common plucky, a dwarf plucky, and a dwarf clown plucky, which all hides in this tree with a cockatoo catfish, as well as I think the cories like to hide in there sometimes when they had enough of the light, and I think some of the fish as well. Generally there is more fish in this tank, but I think some of them, like I said, are hiding in there. And I can see one peacock gudgeon and I've got 2. So yeah, so how can you create a different hiding spots? Like I said, plants, fake or even light plants, will act as a diversion to de-stress fish. Some of the fish will hide in plants, like you see. I don't know if you can see that on my phone, but there's a cory door. There's a bronze cory, which is hiding in between the plants. That's a good way. A lot of fish, a lot of small fish as well. As you can see, I think there is some more platies they hide in, which either they don't like the lightning, or they're getting picked on and they want to be stress free. The plants are a good hiding spot, or they're about to give birth. And they will hide, especially if fish are about to give birth, like platies and mollies and guppies will want to hide. So I created a hiding spot by the having this log. There's some fake plants attached to it, as well as some real life plants which I super glued on. Hence why this just a bit too much pretty. I used the wrong super glue as well. Should use something a bit different, but oh well. Lesson learned, and next time I'll do it better. That's good doing it, you got an aluminum zombie. So yeah, so having some fake plants, so if in this case, say if this rainbow was being really nasty to one of the tetras are able to hide themselves in the plants, or at least swim around them where the rainbow can't get them to. Like I said, some fish will prefer main hiding spots. There is a poku, I can't remember the catfish he is, but he likes to hide underneath the pump. I think he likes the vibration of the pump mainly, but he always likes to hide in that corner. He likes to hide close to that pump. So having a good hiding spot in your tank, like a main hiding spot, like I said, having some live plants, or at least a bigger ornament, which other fish can use to hide in. And they can hide different areas in this ornament. Like, it's not just a big, it's not just a small ornament. They can hide in, they can hide out, they can burrow themselves in the plants, like I said. And, like, you can see it by my proof. There's a tetra and a couple of platies hiding under there, which means they are probably getting shown signs they're about to give birth, or they don't want to be, don't want to hide. So again, it depends on what your type of stocking is. Obviously, some of the bigger fish, like the like gourami, as well as the rainbow and the big pleco, maybe they want to hide. But sometimes they like to hide, and sometimes they like to hide behind the filter. And not really behind the filter, I mean, but the side of the filter. And they like to hide away from all the little fish, or from each other. And I feel like this tank has done really well out of two things. One, looking pretty. And two, it's got a lot of hiding spots for all the small fish, as well as all the big fish. The pistis catfish are recommended to keep with bigger fish, not with smaller fish. And so far, I had no problems with the corridoras, the neon tetras, or even the platies, and even the cory cats. It seems to be, because they do tend to grow big, and they will eat the little fish. He can grow bigger than that, but in the meantime, before he gets bigger, hopefully I'll upgrade this tank to a nice bigger size for him. So, they recommend not to keep anything small with him at all, and it works. I mean, it clearly works, because all these little fish could have been his dinner by now. Let's move on to the second tank. The other common fish in the hobby is goldfish, either fancies or commons. Obviously, there's a lot more than just fancies and commons, but obviously you got the main two subjects. Obviously, for the goldfish, you can probably hide in some hiding spots, but I really have any problems with any of my goldfish to be, naughty. The fun thing for goldfish is because they do tend to grow big, and I always like to make sure there's plenty of swimming space, but I also want to make sure it looks nice to me and to my mates who come to my room or into my house. So a simple TARDIS with some blue fake plants, a log with a couple of fake plants on it. There's more fake plants moving than that, but I did try live, but sadly the goldfish ripped them at the place, so I had to go back to fake. And the idea of this tank was just to get that full 360 design of it, because obviously this tank is in the middle of the room. The three main ruin areas you can look at is directly at the front, the side, as well as the back. Well, front, back, side. Obviously, then if this shelf unit was new, you could always look at design it a full way, but it would still look nice, just minus the pump. So the main idea was trying to get that 360 look, which I think I'd done pretty well considering what the stocking is in this tank. I could have easily created a 360 ruin way for that tank as well, or at least a 3-panel ruin way for that tank. Well, it's because that tank back is too close to the wall to worry about the back of the wall. You don't actually worry about the 360 ruin. You kind of rule it from the front and the side. And I agree, it looks pretty from the side as well as the front. So obviously then you got, obviously goldfish will grow big. So the main thing is to make sure there was plenty of swimming space. There was plenty of room for as much fish that I got in his tank. But then, it's to make it look nice as well as to keep it easy and simple. And this tank has done that, perfectly well with the goldfish. Ain't gonna damage each other. There's not, there's plenty of swim space. They got plenty of ways to get around the tank quite quick if they were gonna be naughty. If some of the fish were gonna be mean to each other, then they got plenty of swimming space to get around of. But like I said, I barely have any problems with goldfish being aggressive. The next tank which we're going to go to is the female beta tank. So a female beta tank will need a lot of hiding spots because females will be aggressive. I know this from my own personal experience, fish life and not fish life. Always females betas will have a go at each other. So something I like to recommend to do is, no matter what size the beta tank is, get a lot of hiding spaces. So like get a fish tank ornament that is big enough where, or it's big enough where the fish are able to swim through and they have no problems escaping from each other. You can tell the one female beta BU will like to hide in the lower plants. Some of them will like to hide in the back in the bigger plants. I only got 3 female betas in this tank because it's a bit too small to have more than that. But like this one, like you can see, she's a little bit beaten up. And that's due to not having enough hiding spots. But like, she does get away by hiding in the plants. She could get away by hiding in the ornament. Same again with the big mama bee. As well as there's another red one, and there's a small red. But you can tell that it has work where it hasn't killed the white one. I know she's a little bit beaten up, and that's mean to say. But obviously you can expect betas to fight, whatever the case may be. But obviously the one thing I like to recommend is plenty of hiding spaces, which I feel like I have done that in this tank, as well as plenty of live plants, again, to distract the other betas, or, or for the small betas and the guffies to hide away from the big beta. Again, I feel like I've done a perfect, good design. It could use more fake, it could actually use more live plants, some smaller ones, just to make it up in some areas. But other than that, again, it's doing a good job, and it clearly has work where we haven't lost any of the guppies or betas due to fighting. Yeah. And the next tank, and our last tank, is the Axolotl tank. Axolotl tank, again, the axolotls will need plenty of space because they do grow long. They will grow big in time. So I added the sand just to give it a nice look. You could either keep it bare bottom, but I rather some type of gravel / sand on the bottom just to make it look nice. As you can tell, the Iberian axolotl is hiding, but he's hiding because he doesn't like light. Generally, I don't have this, He's a bit of a, he doesn't like light. The wild colour went into about, but he doesn't like light. That's it, why they got hides in it. The hides are just there if they in case they do decide to fight, they're able to have their own hides. As well as, like, as I said, the Iberian one doesn't like light that much. So, at least then he's able to go to a dark place to hide for a bit. If and then he wants to come out later, that's when he's able to do that. Or she's able to do that. We got some real life plants. Just add a bit of colour into it. And the life plants are doing really well. We got some rocks again, and just to add a bit more slight colour into it again. As well as they did a plate which they like to sit and wait there in the morning. And look at him now, he's trying to sit there and wait, and he's hoping I would feed him, but that ain't gonna happen. So when you're coming designing your tank, when you're coming into this hobby as a new hobbyist, or as a hobby that's been in this hobby for a long time, the perfect of designing of your tank, it depends on your stocking. I showed you 4 different options with 4 different of stockings in these tanks, and I have barely any problems with the design of the tanks as well as the stocking. And like I said, the one catfish in that planet tank of mine isn't supposed to get along with neon tetras or anything smaller than a neon tetra, and he gets along with them fine. He leaves them alone, them leave him alone, and he doesn't eat them as a food. He sees them as another food. Doesn't know, he's a bit of a coward, but let's go with it. Designing your tank perfectly, you can always still have problems with aggression with fish, but as long as you've done the best as you can, and you created enough hiding spots either with real or fake plants, and even with ornaments, then that's all you can do. That's the only thing you can do, and that's the only thing what we can do as a hobbyist, is try to do our best for our fish as well as for our look of our tank. Sometimes, as you go fish, you want to keep it easy and simple because they are big fish. They will grow big, so you might need to keep it easy and simple, like I did with just one ornament and one log. And you might want to have some beautiful chocolate fish, which then you want to have live plants and a big ornament in a 3-foot tank, which you guys already seen that. Or you want something a bit easy, something a bit different, and some catchy eyes, and that's the axolotls. And again, with their tank, just easy and simple, as long as it's got enough hides a bit of colour into the tank, then you're sorted. That's pretty much it. When you're coming to designing your new tank as a hobbyist, or as a new hobbyist who's joining this hobby, generally just keep it easy, keep it simple, and keep it easy to maintain, and that's the main thing. And as long as you create enough hiding spots, you should have no to next aggression. That's the main thing. But yeah, otherwise than that, I'll see you guys in the next Tranter's Pet video or in the next Tranter Shows video. And goodbye for now. Bye!